Hello? Subcourse Edition TR-0660, Edition 6, Military Railway Equipment. Introduction. Many old-time railroad signs of nostalgia when a steam locomotive is mentioned, but hissing of the steam has long since been given way to efficient wear of diesel-electric. The first American diesel-electric locomotive was introduced in 1925 when 300 horsepower was used. Rather inconspicuous as a switch engine in the freight yard on Class 1 railroads, steam locomotion still dominated 20 years later, 39,000 steamers compared to 30,800 diesels. Within another 7 years, the diesels outnumbered the steam locomotives by 30,500 to 16,000. By 1960, steam locomotives were no longer being used on the main line. Their number has dropped to 261, while the diesel fleet has grown to 28,278. Who knows the future will bring? A sign of nostalgia. Diesel-electric locomotive. Perhaps a diesel-electric as well as a surviving competitor of all-electric may be made obsolete by turbine engines or linear introduction engines. Maybe some power, some yet created. Over years, commercial rolling stock has changed. It's bigger, better, in some instances highly specialized, but the basic house of cars, gondolas, flat cars are still in use. Will long continue. Big cars have increased the fleet's capacity while the total number of cars has decreased. The many different kinds of specialized cars are designed to meet the particular needs of certain shippers and military civilians. The Army also operates and maintains the diesel-electric locomotive varies in type of the rolling stock. Suppose you received an assignment of the plan of the railing operation, provided logistics support of the combat and theater operation. You would need to know the railway equipment you have to move troops supplies to the front lines. You would maintain it. The text consisting of the 3 chapters introduces you to some of the railway equipment that Army has to provide in rail support of the tactical mission. The type of the best suited for the specific jobs. The men who maintain Chapter 1 describes the American diesel-electric locomotive, how they are classified. Chapter 2 divided into Section discusses railway stock for emphasis in Section 1 of the fleet, especially designed for use in theater operations. Section 2 discusses the other types of the rolling stock, including piggyback and container equipment. Finally, Chapter 3 outlines briefly Army maintenance, explains who is responsible for maintaining military railway equipment. Chapter 1, Motive Power. General. Fast, powerful, reliable, economically, the modern, highly developed diesel-electric locomotive has undoubtedly found a permanent niche for itself in primary mover. It requires a minimum maintenance of low-cost fuel, a small supply of water, and a short warm-up period. These electric locomotives can produce more heat units and work more efficiently than any other engine. If it is used as a source of motive power with locomotives throughout the world, the efficiency of a diesel engine from 100 to 2,400 indicated horsepower is the source of energy to turn electrical generators had adequately proven. The U.S. Army diesel-electric locomotives for training of the Transportation Railway Service personnel in their operation for the use of utility railroad services for combat logistics support. The chapter describes the Army locomotives, explains the systems to classify them. 1-2 diesel-electric locomotive. The diesel-electric locomotive is an efficient, self-contained unit with all parts properly coordinated, providing motive power for the railway equipment. The major parts of the diesel engine furnish primary part, generator, electrical equipment, and the transmit power to the generator to the wheels, trucks to keep them driving wheels in the rails, and underframe a cab to hold the trucks in line to support the diesel engine and generator and control equipment, air compressor, and other necessary equipment. Diesel engine as a locomotive is an internal combustion engine similar to that used in an automobile. The diesel engine uses compression ignition, a process by which the air is compressed extremely high pressure, resulting in a high temperature within the cylinder. The fuel oil injected in the cylinder is ignited at the high temperature to compress. On the other hand, the automobile engine uses mixture of gasoline and air is ignited. The spark from the spark plug. The mechanical engineering output of the diesel engine is converted in the generator into electrical energy, which powers the traction motor that provides the axles and turning the locomotive. The representatives diesel diesel-electric locomotive the Army owns and operates, described briefly in subparagraph C. The classification is 0660 is explained in paragraph 1.3. The 0660 120 road switcher locomotive shown in the figure 1.1, designed for use in high-duty yard services, it may be used as a multiple unit or standard broad gauge. The 120 16,000 horsepower locomotive is highly versatile, suitable for operating under extremes of climate, and adaptable for both foreign and domestic coupling and arrangements. This locomotive is also referred to as the MRS-1 or MRS Standing Military Road Switcher. The 040 100-ton Switch 8, as shown in Figure 1.2, designed a heavy-duty road switching services standard railway in continental United States, foreign countries, has 800 horsepower engine and has multiple unit capabilities. The 0440 60-ton locomotive shown in Figure 1.3 can be used on both road and switching services. It may be used single multiple units in broad gauge railroad. The locomotive has 500 diesel engines, can be used on both continental United States foreign railroads. Its Drawals hook buffer kit converts its use for European railroads. 1.3 classification. The locomotives are classified various ways and sized by horsepower, tractive effort. However, none of these are completely descriptive, adequate for all purposes. The most widely used accepted classification is a White classification. It was developed in 1900 by F.M. White, a mechanical engineer of the New York City Hudson Railroad system, generally accepted the Great Britain, British Commonwealth, and North-South America. The White classification is based on the number of locomotive wheels of axles of each of the type of the truck. Wheels and trucks are three types: leading in front, driving, trailing rear. Truck is determined. Term is used designated wheel assembly as a supported locomotive and car body. The White system uses a series of digits numbers separated by the hyphens to specify the number of wheels in each of the locomotive truck. The first numeral donates the number when the number of the wheels of the leading truck. The next one or two represents the number of the driving group of the last specifies the number in the trailing truck. The number always refers to the wheel as from the front to rear. Digits are never omitted there if there is no leading trailing wheels. No lead or trailing wheels, a zero is used. Another system commonly used in Europe and other parts of the world. All wheels of the Army diesel electric locomotive drivers are no leading trailing wheels. Diesel has either two sets of six-wheel trucks or two sets of four-wheel trucks. Therefore, the 0660 denotes the no leading trailing wheels. Two sets of three driving wheels with two wheels on each. Total of 12 driving wheels. Likewise, 040 locomotive would have no leading trailing wheels, two sets of true-driven axles, such as a total 8 driving wheels. For Figure 1.4 illustrates the White system classification diesel electric locomotive. Another system commonly used in Europe and other parts of the world uses letter figures to identify the diesel electric locomotive is by its axles. Letters are used by the driving axles numbered to non-driving axles. If the system has A stands for one of the driving axles, B stands for 2, C stands for 3, and D stands for 4. A small 0 is placed after the initial letter, shows each axle is individually powered. Thus, a single unit locomotive would have two individual power two-axle trucks were classified by the BO. One three-axle truck and the center axle is an idler would be designated A1, A1, A1. A 1.4 diesel. These are these electric locomotives 04 and the 0660 diesel electric. Two sets of 6 power drivers, no trailing wheels. Two sets of 4 power drivers, no trailing wheels. 1.4 diesel electric locomotives have internal combustion engine, furnish primary power electrical equipment to transmit the power of engines to the driving wheel. Its engine is White classification diesel electric locomotive cylinders highly compressed air reaches the high temperature provided by the spark, initiates the fuel and the oil injected by the cylinder. The Army locomotives are classified by the White classification system according to the wheel arrangement of the front to the rear. The series of digits supported by the hyphens is specifically total number of wheels of the axle, each type of the truck being in the leading of the truck next to the driving wheels. The trailing truck. Army diesel locomotives have neither leading nor trailing trucks as well. All wheels drivers. These locomotives generally have two sets of either 4 wheels or 6 wheels. Chapter 2, Rolling Stock.